Hi there. My name is Allison Smith, and I'm here to introduce you to one of the Canadian coaches with the Canadian Coach Group. And this is Keith Gelhorn. And did I pronounce that right, Keith?
You totally did.
Okay, good. I meant to ask that before, but with all this tech fun, I kind of missed it. So I would love to know more about you because I'm just meeting you for the first time today too. So how about you tell me a little bit about your story?
All right. So I'm an ADHD coach, and how I got started in this was basically through years of struggles. So I was adopted into a family, and I have a sister, or a natural sister, who has a PhD in behavioral genetics, trying to figure out why I was such a crappy brother. True story.
Oh, no.
No, it's a true story. And I was crappy for a long number of years. So I struggled all the way through school. The only thing I really wanted to do is become a social worker. And
Okay.
in grade 11 and 12, I took a human services course, loved it. And but my friends are all making fun of me because I'm in a very female-dominated area, and they're like, "You should go become a firefighter." And I listened to them. To be a firefighter, you had to take a science. And I walked into biology 12, looked on the board, could have been written in Chinese for all I cared. I walked right back out and never went back to the class. So I skipped 131 classes in grade 12. And at the end of the year, where they were doing the, calling for all the provincial exams, they come to biology. I was in with the principal. I was come to biology, and I said, I'm going to fail. And they said, well, Keith, given your performance here at this school, doesn't matter what you do in life, you're going to be a failure. And so
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. And
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you've got a rebellious streak then. I can just
yeah, well, I lived
listen
that
to them.
life, and a really miserable life, to be honest.
Oh no.
I was 34. So I worked every job known to man in my 20s and 30s. I spent 3 years on unemployment insurance. It took me 6 years to get through 2 years worth of college. At the end, I only had a 70% average. Tried to get in for social work, and they told me at the door, you're never going to succeed in academia. Go get a trade. I hear plumbers make good money. And then all of a sudden, I'm 27 or 28, sitting on the unemployment line after some medical things. Sent out 100 resumes. First one that wrote me back, a plumbing plumber. And so I am a Red Seal journeyman plumber and gas fitter. I got my tickets in 2007, moved from Vancouver up to Kelowna into a booming market, so I thought. It's promised 5 years worth of work. And a year later, the economic downturn hit. My company went from 77 to 4 in 6 months, and I was one of the last guys cut. So at that point, I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety.
No kidding.
No kidding.
I think you'd be diagnosed with life at that point.
Yeah, I wasn't doing so.
I don't think we need a degree for that one.
No, I literally was sitting in the middle of my living room, bawling my eyes out, thinking of what to do. I owned a house, I had a fiance, I had all the toys known to man, and there was nowhere to go. So I went into the mental health system, got the diagnosis, and then 2 months later, I actually got diagnosed with adult ADHD. And what got me there was something that's pretty scary. If you see, I'm 6'7", I'm a big guy, right? I used to have something called flash anger. So flash anger is when you go to 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. You're yelling and screaming, road rage, and punching walls. I left most of my jobs with my 2 middle fingers in the air, thinking, no big deal, I'll just go to the next place. But then it kept catching up to me.
Right.
It was a blessing in disguise getting this diagnosis. I tried medication, didn't do anything, and I'd gone back to the doctor asking for more support. And there was like, he pulled out a prescription. He's like, here's some more Ritalin. And I said, put that freaking thing back in your pocket. There has to be another way. And so that's what kind of led to all this stuff happening. The better way didn't come until 2 years later, because I did go back to plumbing. I was running another company, and went back to plumbing, had a back injury, and was off work for another 6 months. And I was like, you know what, this is a time. I really wasn't happy doing plumbing. This is a time to make the change. So I found a ADHD support group in Vancouver, met people kind of felt and acted like I did, went to the guy at the front of the room and asked him what he did. said he was an ADHD coach, and I'm like, yeah, tell me all about that. And
that light bulb went off, right?
Well, it was a light bulb, but the response that I got was like, listen, man, you don't want to get into it. People don't show up. They don't pay their bills. And I was looking, I saw this halo over this guy's head, and then I get that response, and I was like, what a crappy attitude for a coach. I could totally do this. And that's what spurred it. So there was like 6,000 coaches at that time in the States, 50 in Canada, east of Ontario, there were none. So I moved to Nova Scotia and started it from here. And that was 7 years ago.
Okay. And you've got some big things going on now, I hear.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we have quite a few things in the works. So we work primarily with, I start off with post-secondary students because that's where I really went awry. And when I think back to where things really went off the curb, it was that comment from the principal, right? And I see it happen over and over again with kids who aren't necessarily cut out for classroom work, that have to kind of assimilate into the neurotypical world of sorts.
You know, I see that so often. I spent 10 years as an educator in administration and a variety of other positions. And that demographic is so badly underserved and misunderstood. You know, and I really feel for your inner child, to sound a little woo-woo, because that struggle is real. And for those who don't know, I'm a parenting coach, and so I'm always looking for the connections between what's going on for adults that I meet and what may have been the connection in their childhood that is causing them pain or unhealthy patterns and emotional distress, all kinds of different things. And there's such a connection there, as you know, preaching to the choir, I'm sure. And there needs to be such change, even at the kindergarten or preschool level, even at home, because we start to see some of those traits or behaviors that would lead us in that direction toward a diagnosis. But with the right interventions, maybe we don't need that.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Having taken some psychology courses along the year, I learned about developmental psych. And when you're basically, all your beliefs happen between the ages of kind of 4 and 10. Yeah. When I was coming up between 4 and 10, it's like, don't touch this, don't do that, quit stealing the cookies. You know, no.
Just
no. And so by the time I hit teenager, my self-esteem was so annihilated. All that flash anger was built up from that part of my life.
Absolutely.
My parents,
do you feel that much anymore?
What's that?
Do you ever feel that flash anger?
No, I totally took care of that.
Wow.
I did 2.5 years of cognitive behavioral therapy to start with. Then I did another year of it, and I continue to see specialists. So I'm kind of the opposite now. I hate conflict. I never raise my voice. I'm pretty chilled out, but I can relate to these guys who do. And when flash anger is a really interesting one, because it, like every road rager you ever see, any gamer rage, any, it's just like you get
parent who just gets to the end of the rope.
It's exactly, well, you deal with parents. So it's a perfect example is a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum. That's what happens. But in a guy like me, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, exactly. And not just for people around you, but for the person themselves.
Exactly.
To feel that out of control is frightening for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I got some other questions for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's all right. Okay. So, very evident, why you became a coach, why you were drawn to this. And obviously you've got some amazing background that will inform all of your work with clients, which is fantastic. So are you starting at the post-secondary level and working with adults, or did you start at post-secondary and work your way younger?
No, I started at post-secondary. So I started just by fluke. I was running an ADHD support group at the school I was at, this little community college in Truro, Nova Scotia.
Oh my gosh, I used to live there.
Oh, did you?
I did.
So that's where I started this. And there was an individual from Dalhousie who didn't need a counselor, didn't need a tutor. She needed somebody who understood where she was coming from. And she had a 6-week window to get from a 73 to an 85. And however, they're like, we got this guy, he's going to school for coaching, let's give him a shot.
Wow.
6 weeks later, she got to her 85 and continue on. I don't really know what I did. But whatever it was, I created some structure for her. We really worked on accountability, and she was able to get through it.
That's fantastic. And just having someone understand, we can't underestimate the power of that. That empathy, compassion, understanding, and saying, you know what, there's nothing wrong with you.
This is exactly it. And
It's
I've had a lot of pushback, right? Because they're like, in the universities, there's all these academics, they got the PhDs. I got my PhD in plumbing, heating, and drainage. That's always my comeback. But
you got your PhD in hard knocks there, honey.
Yeah, that too.
And how to keep on kicking.
But I've faced a lot of pushback from academics over the years, some of them. But you can't. There's nothing you can do to recreate the life that I've had, right? And that's the value that I bring. So I can sit down with anybody, and they're like, I was sitting with a kid the other day, and he was unfortunately not in a great spot, talking about suicide and so forth. And I lost my dad to suicide in 2006. So there's all these impacts that have happened over the years that really have led me to be able to be a good empathetic coach.
Yeah, that's great. And so you've got the coaching skills added on top of that experience, and you've got the heart and the passion obviously for it. So that's pretty awesome combo right there. Yeah,
it's pretty sweet. And I can also, with ADHD, you tend to be able to associate it. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with an 18-year-old or an 80-year-old. People are people. Like I don't judge anything. So when I'm sitting down with an 8-year-old, I do have a bit of a potty mouth. I'm not gonna lie, because I work.
They love that.
And they love it. I was Absolutely. I'm going through the coaching contract, and it's like, if I say anything that offends you, let me know. And they're like, no, this is awesome, because you're not sitting there with your, umpteen degrees and so forth
on the clipboard, and yeah.
So it works really, really well.
That's great. Definitely needed. So are there many ADHD specializing coaches in, east of Montreal or Toronto at this point?
No, I'm in the market that I'm in. There aren't that many. I don't want to say that too loud. Right? But
no, it's totally saturated. People go look at a different field.
No, exactly. No, there's not. And people have tried. There's been 2 other coaches that have tried to take over my stuff, but I have such a killer network here. It's insane. So anytime anybody's ever gone in, they're like, do you know Keith Gelhorn? Yeah. Well, he has this market, and you're not. You're out.
Just keep on walking.
Yeah. So that's my biggest thing. I felt when I moved here, the reason I moved here is because somebody it was a disability resource facilitator, said my idea was amazing and they do anything to support me. So now we get I've got 3 full-time coaches on staff. We're hiring 2 more. We get staff parking at every community college in Nova Scotia. We get free meeting spaces. Awesome. We are integrated in. We don't work for the college, but we are community partners. But we also have, people at every university. We got people all across Canada and the States. So yeah.
So what are the best ways for people to get in touch with you or to learn more about what you're offering specifically?
So you can reach me toll free at 1-833-233-8398, or you can email, or you can check our website. It's just https:// and it's capital ADD and then lowercase VOCACY.org.
Okay. Thank you. And we could, I think we'll be able to put that in show notes. We'll just check on that after.
Yeah,
But people can rewind too, which is the
that's true.
benefits of technology.
I just want to mention one other thing before you go. So I do
Yeah.
have I actually have three streams of clients. We have post-secondary, but we overlap that with career transitions. So we are heavily involved with some nonprofits that do work around career transition, and we swap clients back and forth all the time. And then I also coach around entrepreneurship as well, and I've had a
Nice.
contract doing that for
Nice. Yeah.
so, yeah. So
Yeah. There are a lot of the entrepreneurial personality type definitely has a lot of overlap with the innovative,
visionary.
neurodiverse thinkers outside the
Yes.
box. And I'm not sure if it's chicken or egg in that case, but
No, I totally agree.
there's so much overlap. So
Yeah.
anything related to innovation and entrepreneurship is such a great option
Well,
for
we have
people.
the new wing that we're going down is basically, I've been running this for 7 years. I've tried to grow, and we have grown. There's no question. But I am a visionary, and I need somebody to mellow me out. We're currently in the process of getting the mellow outer guy on board.
Uh-huh. I hear ya.
He'll be like a chief operating officer for hire, and I'll do mindset coaching and productivity coaching with the entrepreneurs just from my own
Nice.
point of view. And he'll
Mhm.
go and lay in the structure. So that's
Very
where we're
exciting.
moving. Yeah.
Yeah. So after the call, I've got a couple connections I'd love to share with you that I think might be really helpful for what you're doing.
Okay. I'm sure
All
I
right.
do too. I'm a
What's
networker.
that?
I said I'm sure I have a bunch for you too, because I'm a big networker, and I believe in the
Yeah.
power of collaboration more than anything else. So
I love it. I mean, we're social beings. We need to work together.
yeah,
It's
100%.
it's just in our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So let's finish off with your favorite part of being a coach.
My favorite part by far is seeing people that others doubt make it. So I have I can talk about my favorite coaching story is my buddy Chase Valiant. So I met him in 2014. He came to 2 sessions in school. He was booked for the semester, came for 2 weeks, and he vanished. I went to the school. I said, what are you going to do to help him out? We don't care. It's, he's 18. He makes his own decisions. I track him down, get him on track. He was a little pissed off that I was able to relate to him, but we got him back on track. He graduated with a 96% average. He's currently in university with a 90% average, which is easy. And this year alone, he's got $35,000 in scholarships. So
Awesome.
watching him, and he'll come out to conferences with me. Like, I'd rather, instead of me telling me a story, I'm like, hey, Chase, you want to go up there and you talk, right? And he's just so motivational. But I've worked with probably 500 students over the last 7 years. So, he's one of many, but he's just one of the forefront.
Yeah, I love that story. It's a testament to the process of coaching and the power of that, and having someone who's on your side and maybe will chase you down.
Well, and that's the thing. I always tell people I will chase you down. It's not because I'm a stalker like any or micromanager. It's because if you go like more than a week, especially in when you're in transition, right? So if you go 2 weeks and I don't talk to you and I don't know what's going on, that is typically where things are going to go off the rails, right? So all I ask is just like check in with me, shoot me a text, anything to make sure you're fine, and then I'll be fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I really fell off the rails when I was his age. This kid's only like 22, right?
Yeah.
Still buddies with him. So, but that's where things went awry with me, is that people are like, oh, you have potential, or you got potential, but you're lazy. You're gonna do something, but you never complete it. But nobody gave me any solutions to work around it. And
as if sheer will is enough for everyone.
Exactly. We all need help, and that's just the way it is. Like I'm sure you have your own coaches. I got mine, and awesome people in my circle now. But that came from, listening and then also being listened to and non-judged from that,
Yeah.
meet you in the middle type things.
Yeah. I'm so glad you shared that story. You know, it really highlights the loss that we can all have if we don't address these needs that kids have, and by kids, young adults as well, and even adults. Everyone has an amazing potential for significant contribution in whatever area is their kind of zone of genius.
Yeah.
And look at him now, like the contribution that he's able to make now because he's gone through that process is phenomenal.
It's amazing. And he's just an awesome guy. Just like and that's what it took, right? It was like, I did an interview on CTV with him, and they had asked me right around that same time that they thought he was going to fail, like, who are you going to bring on CTV? And I'm bringing Chase. And they're like, why? He's going to fail. And I was like, you watch, this kid is going to kill it. And sure enough, he said it in the interview, like, I was struggling, but yeah, I need a coach. And then off he went on a rocket. And
That's
the
awesome.
same thing happened with me, right? One person says, I believe in you. I moved 6,000 kilometers away, right? Like
that's not a small feat. I've done that cross country.
No.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's amazing when you have, and now actually that person, her name is Joy LaRusick, and she's my swing dance partner. She's about 5.
That's awesome. I love swing dance. Yeah. All right. Well, we'd better head on off this call. Thank you very much, everybody. This is Keith Gelhorn, and you need to connect with him because he's doing some great work.
And so are you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you all soon.